Hello, I am Jyotika. Welcome to Excelling Psychology. In this lesson, we are solving May June 2025 paper 1, variant 2. I've already uploaded part 1 of this lesson, so if you haven't watched it already, do watch it. This video will make more sense to you if you've already watched part 1. It's a continuation. For those of you who don't know, I'm a private tutor for psychology. So if you need to schedule your psychology classes, my phone number and email ID is available in the description box and pinned comment below. In this lesson, I hope to complete section A. In the last part, we have looked at very direct type of questions, mainly 1-2 markers, which did not involve much except naming something or describing something. Towards the end, as we came to question 4, the paper became more challenging. Throughout, as we progress through the paper, it does become increasingly difficult. So now we'll be looking at the more challenging type of questions from this part onwards. Let's see question 5a. Outline one assumption of the learning approach. As I've mentioned, please do watch the previous part because some things I've already explained there, how you deal with an outline command term, how it is an AO1 command term that requires you to describe something. So just don't give 1-2 word answers. Make sure you're elaborating sufficiently. As many marks are there, that much you have to elaborate for an outline question. So you have to give at least 2 points to earn 2 marks. They've asked for one assumption. In the syllabus, for every approach, there are two assumptions that you have to memorize. So some students will unnecessarily give two assumptions here. You'll be credited only for one. So it'll be a waste of time to give two. And if you give two assumptions each partially instead of completely developing on any one, you will get only 1 mark because they are going to not consider the second assumption that you're giving. So make sure you give strictly one assumption and you elaborate on it sufficiently to justify 2 marks. Learning approach is asked for. Some students read in a haste, and as obvious as it might seem, they will not write learning approach assumptions. They will write social assumptions or cognitive assumptions, and then they lose marks. There are 8 assumptions in the syllabus, 2 for each approach. Very easy to score 2 marks. Just memorize all the assumptions and read the question correctly and write the correct assumption. 2 marks can be a deciding factor between an A and a B in psychology. So it is worth memorizing all 8 assumptions very carefully. Now we look at a model answer. In that model answer, we will see how elaboration is done sufficiently to generate two unique points and to justify 2 marks. The student begins by saying that the assumption is that we are born as a blank slate. Now, if the student would have left it at this, they would earn 1 mark because that's just one point. We are saying that we are a blank slate. But outline means we have to describe this further. What exactly is a blank slate, or what is conveyed by saying that we are blank slate? So the student has explained that here. That we are later shaped by our experiences and interaction. We learn through processes like conditioning. So, because the student has first only specified blank slate but then explained what is meant by a blank slate, they earn full 2 marks here. Okay, so that is what gives you 2 marks. A 1 marker student would just write blank slate and leave it at that. This is very straightforward. The key here is just memorizing the assumption correctly. The challenge comes in part B of this question. Very many students are very weak in applying the assumption to studies. So make sure you have enough practice of this. Keep on generating your own combinations. Take any one assumption from any approach, take any one study from that approach and see, can you link that assumption to that study? Can you explain the assumption in the context of that study? That is the ability which you need here. So let's see the next question. Explain how the study by Saavedra and Silverman supports the assumption you have outlined in A. Actually, linking assumption is very simple. That's why I said all you need is practice. How you have to link an assumption to a study is, in the assumption something is mentioned, like a key factor is there. Here it is that we are a blank slate. Okay, and another one is we learn through experiences and interactions. So these two key factors that are there in the assumption, In which behaviors in this study do we see? The boy basically has button phobia in this study. Now, in the context of button phobia, what would we mean by he's a blank slate? Simply saying he's not born with the button phobia. And what do we mean by he must have got button phobia through experience? There was this incident where the buttons fall on him. So, because of that incident, he develops button phobia. He doesn't have it without that incident taking place. So, that is what you have to do. For any study, just pick out the key factors mentioned in the assumption, note what is the behavior in that study, and think about how that behavior stands in front of those key terms in the assumption. Here, the command term is explain. It's again AO1. You just have to elaborate sufficiently to justify 2 marks. So, here also you can think of it as giving 2 points and sufficient expansion. Explain as such, if we get into it very technically, it's a why type of question. Why would we say that this assumption applies to the boy? But like I had told you in the last video, all these AO1 command terms in practice, they are very, very interchangeable. There's no difference between any. So just treat it like you would treat any describe or outline question. Let's see the model answer to understand better. The study supports the assumption because the boy's phobia was not something he was born with. So, here you can see how the student has directly linked the first part of the assumption, blank slate, by specifying that he was not born with the phobia. Then the student goes further to say that specific incident where a bowl of buttons spilled on him, that is when he learned the phobia. So she has specified, he or she has specified what is the incident in which the child came about to develop a phobia. This is how we link a study to an assumption. Very poor answers which are written for assumptions is first the student will just write that we are blank slates, and in part B they will say the boy was a blank slate. He developed phobia after an incident. Just repeating what is given in A by referring to the boy in the study in B is not the way of getting marks. Doesn't show your understanding at all. It just seems you've used one word from you and one word from the study. Explain means show your reasoning, show what you're understanding about what a blank slate would mean in the context of the boy. Secondly, because of the incident that took place, but they don't describe what was the incident. It's very frustrating for the examiner to read such answers. Like, what comes to mind is, does the student not know anything about the button phobia study? Don't they even know basically what was that main incident which happened with the boy because of which he developed the phobia? And if they know that the incident was that the bowl of buttons fell on him, why are they not writing that? Why are they using the generic term incidents instead of saying button falling on the boy? So don't frustrate the examiner. Don't be irritating in the paper. You know what the incident is. Write down what the incident was. Don't beat around the bush. He was a blank slate, but then because of some experience, he developed the phobia. Just specify what was the experience. That is only what is called linking. So make sure you're being very specific. You're using very direct examples from the study when you're asked to link the assumption. Let's look at question 6 now. Outline what is meant by the term positive reinforcement. Include an example from the study by Fagin et al. These are the two-part type of questions. Why we call them two-part is you have to answer two things here. In general, what is meant by positive reinforcement? That's the first part. Like if you just ignore the second sentence in the question, they just want to know what is positive reinforcement. Second part is in Fagin et al. What was the positive reinforcement? You have to give that. So here the most common mistake becomes to answer one part and to forget to answer the other part. Many students will just specify in Fagin et al. What was the positive reinforcement. Others will just give a general definition. Very few students end up doing both the questions. So make sure you're answering both in your response. It is worth 3 marks. Outline is the AO1 command term here. Now you have two approaches here. For each of the questions which I have marked 1 and 2, definitely you'll have to give at least 1 point to answer them. So that will give you 2 marks. Now where you want to add your third point, that is up to you. Either in your general definition of positive reinforcement, give one more point like an example, or contrast it from, say, punishment or negative reinforcement, and get 2 marks over there. Or alternatively, from Fagin et al., give 2 points around positive reinforcement to get your third point there, or to get your third mark from there. Doesn't matter what your approach is, make sure you have a total of 3 points and you're answering both questions to get your full 3 marks. Without these things, you're not going to get 3 marks. So now let's look at the model answer given here. First, there is a straight off definition of positive reinforcement. Many students feel there's no need to give a general definition, just give it how it was in Fagin et al. But very specifically, they have asked in this question, outline what is positive reinforcement. So you cannot ignore that. So, positive reinforcement is when behavior is followed by a rewarding stimulus which increases the likelihood of the behavior being repeated. Some such definition you must have learned in psychology being investigated of Fagin et al. Just write that definition first. Now the student makes 2 points from Fagin et al. Study to get the remaining 2 marks. First, the student specifies what is the reinforcement in Fagin et al. The piece of banana, you could also say chopped banana or banana, means just indicate you know what was the reinforcement. And of course, this is the part which many students miss, very important. If we look at the definition, it's about behavior being repeated to the stimulus. They just mention the stimulus, banana. What is the behavior that they don't mention? Trunk wash behavior, even that has to come. It's very similar to the previous answer that we have written. In part A, whatever we have given, all of those key points we have linked in part B. So, here also in the definition of positive reinforcement, if you're talking about rewarding stimulus, you're talking about repetition of behavior. Both these key aspects you should show in Fagin et al. You can't just leave it at chopped banana. What about the behavior? You have to mention trunk wash behavior also. This is a very common mistake, and you end up losing marks for no reason, not specifying what is the behavior. In fact, generally, I've seen a trend throughout psychology papers. Students don't identify the basic of any study, which is the behavior being investigated. Make sure you're very clear in every study what was the behavior investigated or what was the dependent variable. You should be able to write it in specific terms, not generic terms. Then, for the last point, the student says that reward helped them to learn the complete sequence. In fact, this is the best way of adding a third point. First, a general definition of positive reinforcement, then identifying in Fagin et al. What is the positive reinforcement, and then saying what purpose it serves. Generally, we know purpose of positive reinforcement is to repeat some behavior. So, in this study, exactly what it is helping them to repeat or to learn, that has been made clear in the last line. So, one for definition, one for identifying in Fagin et al., and third for elaborating further or just linking back as to which behavior was being improved. 3 marks. So, make sure your answer also matches this one. Now, in part B, they have continued asking something from Fagin et al. Okay, let's read. There's a small situation given you. Two friends, Roxana and Tien, are discussing the study by Fagin et al. In terms of individual and situational explanations for behavior. Roxana says the study supports the individual explanation, but Tien says it supports the situational explanation. Outline why you think either Roxana or Tien is correct using evidence from the study. This type of question, the most common mistake is to ignore the either or part, which is given very clearly, and to support both sides. I think Roxana is correct because of this, but I also think Tian is correct because of this. There's another phrasing which they use when they want you to support both sides. They will say, give one reason Roxana is correct and one reason why Tian is correct. Here they are not asking you that. They are making it very clear either you side with Roxana or with Tian. It's for 4 marks. If you give both the sides, so you give 1 point why Roxana is correct, why one Tian is correct, they are going to just ignore the second one. They are not going to give any credit because it's been made amply clear to you that you support one side. So don't waste your time taking both. Now, in these type of questions, it is possible to support both sides. Many times students ask me which is the correct side. which is the right one which I should take. Psychology is always relative, it is not absolute. So any parameter which is there, for example, it serves as both a strength and a weakness in research. In the same way, any issue and debate, especially the debates which are there, they can be justified on both sides. Where you get marks is on the way you explain which side is justified. There's no right or wrong answer. It's not like the one who writes individual, for example, will get full marks, and who writes situational will get zero. Both of them can get full marks if they explain correctly. Both of them can get zero if they don't explain correctly. To give you a quick example before we see the model answer, in Fagin et al., I can support individual explanation because not all elephants were able to complete trunk wash. The elderly elephant wasn't able to do it, and there could have been problems because of factors within her, meaning individual explanation. She had blurred vision, she had an abscess in her foot, and she was aged. If we give these reasons, that gives an individual explanation why the elderly elephant could not learn trunk wash. But situational explanation is also there. We know in the, what would we call it, stable of the elephants, there used to be tourists coming in, and the young calves would be playing around. And that could have been the reason why the elderly elephant did not learn the trunk wash sequence, because she was too distracted by these things. Also, in general, if you think about a situational explanation in this study, how come the elephants learned trunk wash to begin with? They were not masters of this behavior by themselves. The researchers put in place a full secondary positive reinforcement training program. That is why they were able to learn. So, program is always situational or it's external. They made use of that program. So it is possible to justify both sides. Your understanding of whichever side is better, take up that one. Whichever you'll be able to sufficiently elaborate for 4 marks, take up that one and ignore the other one when you're right. Let's see the model answer. Here the student has chosen to go by Tien. Okay. Now let's see the explanation. Tien is on situational side, so the student specifies that there was a structured training program. I would recommend you give the real exact name of the program, Secondary Positive Reinforcement Training. It's not compulsory though, the student still gets 4 marks because it's clear what they are talking about. And it is good terminology though they haven't used the exact name. Also, the student specifies that positive reinforcement was in the form of bananas, and like giving those rewards or giving that banana repeatedly encouraged them to perform behavior. Not only that, the student also notes other situational factors like tourists visiting the stables that sometimes slowed down the training. We could also specify that sometimes elephants had to go for transportation work, or their mahouts were busy in transportation work, and so successively for every elephant they were not able to do training sessions. That could have also slowed down the pace and made it difficult for some elephants to learn the behavior. Means practically you can give any situational factor that impacted trunk wash. Here the student has given many of them, but it is 4 marks, so it's justified to elaborate to this extent. These type of answers are not exactly scored point wise, though in the mark scheme it seems that way, but of course quality of answer matters. Still, if we go for a point wise marking, the student will get 1 mark for correctly specifying that structured training program SPR was used, and because again it's outlined, the description that they've given of the program. Bananas are given, encouraged to repeat. A second mark they'll get for that. Third mark they'll get for specifying other possible situational factors, and then again for describing what were these other factors and how they could have impacted behavior. I can't emphasize enough. Now that we have reached the more advanced questions, please keep noting how behavior is always mentioned, how linking back is always done, because most students have this habit. Tourists could have also created problem. Problem in what? In which behavior? Psychology is the science of behavior, and you never mention behavior in any of your answers. So you have to say tourists could have created problem in slowing down the training of the trunk wash. You have to explain like this completely to get 4 marks. How students tend to think is, I wrote tourists, I wrote SPR program, but I didn't get marks. It's not about writing a word, it's about showing your understanding. That's why I said it's not exactly point wise marking. It's not just about giving a word like tourist or writing a word like SPR. Are you able to show your understanding that because of SPR this happened, or because of the tourists working this happened, this was the impact on behavior? That is what they are looking out for. So whenever you see model answers like these, read them very carefully, compare them with your answers, and see exactly what is different between your answer and the model answer. Even the smallest of things you have to compare and note. Like in your answer, perhaps you didn't write slows down training. You just said tourists used to visit, which is a situational explanation. So note how a high scoring student mentions the behavior also, and that is why they get full marks. So model answers are never meant to memorize. They are meant to compare your own answers against and see where your answers are lacking. So use them in that spirit. Okay, now coming to the next question. This is a very straightforward question. In fact, I would say one of the most scoring questions that is there, because you can easily earn 5 marks. Describe the procedure of Bandura et al. For the aggression arousal part of the study. Literally, what you have learned in the textbook, you have to put it down. There's not much that I can explain how to do it. Standard advice I can give you: 5 marks, do give 5 points. Procedure type of questions, try to give the procedures sequentially so that the examiner is able to follow what you are writing chronologically and they don't miss out anything. Like some students have a bad habit of jumbling up the sequence. Don't do that. First, the students came in the room. Sorry, first the children came in the room. Then they were told you can't play the toys. But the toys were very attractive. The toys were this and that. Go in order. First, they came in the room. They were given some toys to play. These were the toys. Then, after 2 minutes, they were told you can't play. Otherwise, what happens is when the examiner is reading, no doubt they'll give you marks, but it's so difficult to read that because from the beginning you jump to the last part of the procedure, then you're coming back to the middle part. By the time the examiner thought you don't know what is the middle part, just make all your answers easy for reading. So, in procedure type of answers, firstly see the marks, give those many points, then make sure you're writing sequentially, don't break the order of the events, and finally, do not write anything that is not asked for. Avoid what is not asked for. In the procedure of every study, there is a lot. Procedure is the main like heart of any study. That's why for a 4 or 5 marks, they specify exactly which part of the procedure you want. They want. Many students don't read carefully. They just read procedure, bandura, and they start writing whatever they remember of the procedure. You can get 0 marks if you don't write anything about aggression arousal. And in the last part, I want to remind you, I had told you one more thing. You don't get grace marks. So supposing you don't remember what is aggression arousal, so you think, let me write something from the game room or let me write something from the modeling room. I'll get marks. I'll get some grace marks because at least it's something related to the procedure. At least in psychology, Cambridge does not work this way. If you're going to write anything that is beyond what is mentioned in the question, they will not give you marks because in the mark scheme only they have designed it in a way that they will give you marks only if points coming under aggression arousal are written. Nothing else can be credited. There is a definitive mark scheme for these type of answers. Fixed points are there, only these things come under aggression arousal, they make it very clear, and nothing can else can be written over there. Okay, so I hope you're understanding how to go about this. Let's quickly look at the model answer. There's nothing much. Children were taken to a separate room with attractive toys. Examples are given: fire engine doll. Children were told they could play initially. They started playing for about 2 minutes, they kept on playing. But then the experimenter came, took the toys away. She told them these are her best toys. She has reserved them for the children. Then she sat away from the child, and this was a frustrating situation. Strictly speaking, this last sentence is not adding anything to the procedure. It's more like what the child felt. It will be ignored as such. It won't be given any credit. But rest of whatever the student has written, whatever I've highlighted in green, each deserves 1 mark because each has something to do with the procedure. Procedure is what was happening in that aggression arousal. Each point that I've highlighted has something to do with what was happening over there. So as such, I think the student has given more than 5 points also, which are relevant. Doesn't matter. They've written well, it's sequential. First, this happened, this instruction was given, then the experimenter came in. Definitely, they get full marks for this. Examiners do count in the procedure type of questions whether 5 points are given or not. So, just make sure that even if you have not been able to follow an order and all, still at the end, you have definitely minimum 5 points to get 5 marks. Okay, and for today, we look at the last question of section A. Your friend Rosalia tells you that she recently began to feel stressed, even though nothing has changed in her life. She wants your advice on how to help reduce her level of stress. From this only, we can understand it has something to do with wholesale. But let's read the next part. Outline the advice you would give to Rosalia using your knowledge of the study. This is a clear cut application to everyday life type of answer. But compared to the one which we had seen yesterday, the Milgram one, there is a certain context which is given here. You're not free to like write whatever you want. It is about Rosalia in particular. She is very stressed out. She needs some sort of mindfulness to come out of it. So this is an AO2 answer. Though the command term looks AO1, but you have to see it in full context. Outline the advice you would give Rosalia. So outline something you would give to a certain character or outline something in a certain context. That's called AO2, application, assessment objective of application. That means whatever you write in this answer, you have to keep on relating to Rosalia. Name Rosalia in your answer. Talk about her situation, talk about her stress, talk about her reducing the stress. Keep on using wording from the question. Here, the main mistake is to just go on generally writing what is mindfulness MBSR, in fact, to describe what participants did in wholesale study. Why do you think they bothered to give you a full scenario around Rosalia if they just wanted to know what happened in the study? Then they could have phrased the question like the previous one, like they did for Bandura. That way they could have written, just specify what was the procedure of wholesale. They've given you Rosalia's situation because they want you to talk about it. Don't lose sight of that. So for 4 marks, you have to bring about any four things, any four features of the wholesale study which will help Rosalia to reduce her stress. That is how you have to think and answer. Let's see the model answer so that it becomes more clear. Rosalia is named. I will advise Rosalia to join MBSR. Am I talking about MBSR in general? No. As a student, I am saying Rosalia should attend MBSR. Again, she, again referring to Rosalia. What will she have to do? She will have to do it meditation for 45 minutes. Is the student saying the participants in wholesale had to do 45 minutes meditation? No, she's saying Rosalia will have to do. No doubt she's saying it because the participants had to do it. But she's keeping the focus of her answer on AO2, on Rosalia. So she will have to control her breathing. I'm sorry, not control, focus on her breathing. Become aware of body sensations, not judge them. If you want, you can use the term body scanning, but this is a better way of writing how it is written in this model answer, because you need to explain. You don't need to just name, you have to show your understanding everywhere, like we are seeing from beginning. So if you just write body scan, do you really understand what is body scan? How will Rosalia understand if you just say the word body scan? So show that you understand what a body scan is and say this is how I will advise Rosalia to do it. She could also try mindful yoga, which is stretching movements. Here, mindful yoga is mentioned. But immediately after that, what it means is also mentioned. Stretching movements to become more aware of her body and manage feelings of stress. So, how the student earns marks is naming the program correctly, which Rosalia can use. First of all, the fact that she keeps focus on Rosalia. Otherwise, all of this would be not worth more than 1 or 2 marks if she hadn't spoken about Rosalia. So, in context of Rosalia mentioning MBSR, giving the duration for the exercises, giving one exercise Rosalia can do, giving one more exercise Rosalia could do, full 4 marks. Another common mistake is referring to Rosalia but writing something generic, something not related to wholesale. Actually, students have done this, like how she should reduce stress by just sitting in a corner and deep breathing. That is not what they did in wholesale. They did body scanning, sitting meditation, and yoga. So just sitting and breathing and all is very generic advice. You can't give that. Another mistake is not to give what? Going on, this is very bad. In fact, many students will go on giving the benefits of mindfulness. Rosalia should do mindfulness because her attention will improve, her memory will improve, she will become non judgmental. See, what are they asking you? She wants your advice how to reduce the level of stress. If you're saying this will happen, that will happen, are you explaining to her how? What is the process or the procedure she has to do? Are you giving her the steps on exactly what she should do? She's not asking you, why should I do mindfulness? She's asking you, how should I do? So you have to keep your focus on that. Okay. That's why, like I had said in the last video, just read the question very carefully. Otherwise, you stray all over. You feel I have given so much from the study. I said why mindfulness is important. In that study, they had shown that attention improved, but still I did not get marks, even though I wrote that. Because the question is something else and your answer is something else. So make sure you're not making that grave mistake when you're answering. So I hope this part of the video has also been helpful to you. We have only one last part to go over, which will include the essay questions, the 8 and 10 marker, that I will cover in the next part. If you have any feedback to give me on these videos, any suggestions, any questions that you have about these videos, do not contact me personally. My personal contact is only for tuition inquiry. Anything related to the videos, if you ask me personally, I'm not going to answer. So make sure to reach me out through the correct platform. Ask me in the comments box below or give your suggestions below. I do read the comments as and when I get time, and I do answer any queries in the comments. So if you reach me out through the right channel, you will definitely get answers for your questions. Thank you for watching this video, and that's it for today. I hope to see you again soon. Goodbye.